Hi everybody, it's Gina Page from AfricanAncestry.com, and as you can see from my backdrop, I'm in a very different place today. I am in Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia. I've never been here before. Quite honestly, I've never wanted to come here before for probably obvious reasons, but I have a very special friend slash guest slash ambassador slash family member slash all that good stuff down here. And so I drove down from DC to come check him out. He's a revolutionary in residence, but we're going to get to that in a minute. I wanted to show you, so at this Peyton Randolph house, which is from the 1770s, it's I'm in the kitchen, which is where we would have been, the people who look like me and you, in the kitchen. And luckily they're not cooking here today. They do reenactments and they're not cooking here today, so it's not 300 degrees in here, but you can see that big the hearth. Thank you, my guest is coaching me. The big hearth, it looks kind of, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's amazing. In this really tiny space that we're in, this is where all the cooking was done. And there is another kitchen on the other side that was used as a laundry slash kitchen. But I wanted to show you this, and it's because I'm with the esteemed author, culinary historian, historical interpreter, gardener extraordinaire. I don't know. I just love him. Michael Twitty. Michael Twitty in the house. He's here as the revolutionary in residence here in Colonial Williamsburg. Is that right?
Yes.
For the whole town.
Yes.
You the revolutionary.
Yes.
In residence. He's in here cooking up stuff, showing, well, I'm gonna let you, but I'm gonna bastardize it and then let him tell you, showing people how food was prepared during colonial times here in Williamsburg, and educating the community on the role that food played in our experience as enslaved Africans here in Virginia. Right. And so if you all have seen, I'm sorry, I know this is ghetto, but I'm on a selfie stick. If you all have listened to African Ancestry Radio or seen online, I have a reveal. So Michael and I, we end up meeting on plantations
all the time.
Yeah, our first meeting was on a plantation in North Carolina where he was doing a reenactment, and they created a whole dinner using the methods that, the historical methods of preparing food. So I was honored actually to reveal your ancestry on that plantation. Yep. And that was powerful, because this brother here, okay, he's an interpreter, right? But then he's Jewish. Like, there's just all this disconnect.
All levels.
It's just a disconnect. So I'm revealing the ancestry of a man of Jewish faith, of African descent, on a plantation
in North Carolina. Yep.
The things
Who
we
thought?
do.
Who would have thought?
And now we're in here sweating, even though it's nice outside.
Yes.
We're sweating here. So welcome, Michael Twitty, to our Facebook Live. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm better than I would be if I was cooking here today. I'd be all sweaty and
I don't know how y'all
kind
do
of melted
it.
chocolate. So, oh no, it's intense. It's intense. The worst was a couple years ago. Remember, like 2012, when we had all those storms and knocked out everybody's power and air conditioning. It was 112 degrees in the kitchen. Without the fire. And the fire, when you went in there, as soon as you approached it, it just got hot. The degrees in the air just went up and up and up. So yeah, it can be brutal. But you learn to respect the ancestors. When you cook in this environment, I'm telling y'all, that's why I do it. It's out of respect, but it's also just to figure out how all this great food that we created, we intuited from our African heritage, native ingredients, and borrowing some of the European traditions, melding them together. We said we blackified the food, made it taste better. So this is what we're about. First Reverend Residence.
Only you would be.
Yes.
They chose the right the first revolutionary. I want to be. How do we get? How do I get to be one? I want to be a revolutionary.
I think you are revolutionary, my sister.
I am, but I want to be one in residence. But maybe not down here. I don't think I want to be down here. Look, Terrence Scott said, I remember him. He's Mende. Oh,
yes.
Shucks. That's right.
Yes,
Terrence, where are you from? We need to know where your roots are, Terrence.
Yes.
Have you taken the test? But anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to find out about you. So I love Michael, and I always want to talk to him because I learned so much. And I used coming down here as an excuse because he has a new book.
That's right.
And, you know, I'm all about supporting Black businesses, Black creators, and so it's very important to me that we support you.
Thank you.
That I tell everybody who's watching and who will watch to please buy this book. It's called The Cooking Gene.
Yes.
The Cooking Gene. Of course, African Ancestry is going to support a book called The Cooking Gene. So tell us about The Cooking Gene.
Well, The Cooking Gene is based off a project I did in 2012 called the Southern Discomfort Tour. And I always wanted to do, as a part of this DNA component, and I had been admiring from afar African ancestry for a long time. And so you played a major role. You were in my book. You know you're in my book. I'm in the book? Of course you're in my book.
Okay, y'all, so, really, you got to buy the book now because I'm in the book. No.
So I had to, because, you know, I chose to make, you know, my results reveal on a plantation with a Black-owned company for a reason. Number one, I wanted people to see that all DNA companies are not outsourced. Number two, African Ancestry has been holding it down for us for quite some time, giving us a piece of our tradition back. Three, that your results are accurate. I hear a lot of nonsense on Facebook and social media. People, why you got to pay someone? Guess what? Their ice is not colder. Sorry.
He's a revolutionary in residence.
Yeah, we ain't talking no nonsense. So for this book, I had to have accurate results to tell me where my family was from. And in fact, I don't want to give a spoiler, but The Cooking Gene is basically about tracing our food and family roots. And what I want to encourage other African American, this book is for everybody, but African American readers in particular want a blueprint of how they can actually take those results and create a narrative. So the first thing I did when you said the words Mende, remember my thought process? Mm-hmm. I was like, hold up, great-great-great-grandma was born in Charleston. Charleston imported people who grew rice. People who grew rice were Mende from Sierra Leone. Yep. Wait a minute, we have a narrative. See, I want every Black family to be able to take the DNA results, their oral history, their genealogy, and I want to keep pushing with genealogy. We're never quite done with that work, and be able to create a narrative that's useful for our youth, for the future. Unless they have that, they have no clue or context. You know, the word American is a very loaded term, but African American is even more loaded. It's powerful because we are an African people living in America. So I don't want anybody ever to forget that. So this book is about how we created our own America based on those African elements and using food to do so. You know, with little trips to the Caribbean and other places. And so I really wanted to make sure that people got a hold of that narrative. So I want to tell something amazing about Gina Page.
This is not about Gina Page.
It doesn't
have something to do with the cooking gene.
Yes, you're a vehicle for this
needs
story.
to be about the cooking gene.
It is about the cooking gene,
okay,
but
right.
you're a vehicle.
Go ahead.
So it's part of the reason why you're in my book is not only because of that reveal, which was very powerful for me, life-changing, but it's because when I got your results, I didn't know that other family members had actually taken African ancestry tests. And we found out that, I'm not going to give all the details away, but we found out that one of our oral histories of one of our ancestors that had been passed down for 250 years was completely accurate because of your test.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like, I did not think we were ever going to find someone in that lineage who had been a test taker,
right.
And someone had taken the test, many years ago.
Wow.
And to find out that it was 100% accurate to the story that we were always told was just, Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
You all, if you're just joining us, we're here with culinary historian Michael Twitty, and we're in Colonial Williamsburg in the kitchen of the Peyton Randolph House. Not cooking.
Not cooking.
Thank God, because it's hot in here already. But we're celebrating the new book that he's about to
August 1st.
Launch August 1st.
Pre-order though.
Called The Cooking Gene.
Pre-order.
And you know, we're about business and we're about supporting black business. So I want to encourage you all to pre-order his book. They can get it on Amazon,
Barnes & Noble, IndieBound if you want to go support a local independent bookstore, especially local independent African American owned bookstore.
Oh my God. And you know what? Our friends at MahoganyBooks.com, we got to make sure they have it. Okay, because we partner with Mahogany Books. Shout out to Derek and Ramunda. You all need the Cooking Gene
absolutely
on your site. So please, because when you pre-order, that helps the popularity of the book, right?
And it also and it helps us sell those narratives as narratives people want to see. Positive narratives about African American people and our history and our culture.
Yeah. So this is a marketing request to help with this book, and not just with this book, but to help promote the importance of our stories so that other people can publish.
I want
books.
everybody to be able, every person of African descent to be able to tell their story and not be told by, certain publishers, not mine, but certain publishers, oh, you're too complex, or you're too complicated, or nobody wants to read that, or whatever. No, we need all of our stories told. Yeah. And so it's important to make sure that all of us get lifted up, not just me, but I want somebody to, in the future, to be able to tell an even grander, even better story than what I've read in this book.
So the Cooking Gene is about African and African American food and history.
Traced through my family tree.
Traced through your family tree. And one of the titles I forgot was that he's a genealogist. So talk to us about how your love for genealogy got started, because you've been a genealogist for a very long time.
Yes.
We need that fly swatter. Can you show them this fly
Yes.
swatter?
Oh yeah, this is no joke.
Look at this fly. So this is how we used to swat flies?
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes.
That's cool, right? But we need that fly swatter right now. They're loving us over here. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. This is not a comedy show. This is very serious. Okay, so tell us how you got your love of genealogy.
My uncle and other people in my family were they got the roots bug.
Oh, okay.
So I was born the year Alex Haley's Roots came on television. That spring. So for me, just being around that energy, being alive in the late 70s, when everybody wanted to find their roots, we all wanted to find our Kunta Kinte, meant being around a lot of young, excited black genealogists. And so I grew up going to the record house. I grew up going to go to the archives. I lived in D.C., so National Archives. I mean, I was there at age 10, 12 years old, trying to find out where our family came from. And slowly but surely, but also becoming a historian, then later on, you the genealogy fades in the background, then the history goes up front. The next thing you know, you'd be like, well, wait a minute. Oh, so my people were there when this happened or when that happened.
Right.
You kind of connect the dots. And so that's why the DNA part was so important to this book, because I wanted to be able to show people that what we were talking about was real. That people from specific parts of Africa actually did bring certain foods, over to the South, the Caribbean, Brazil, other places, Haiti. And those foods and that culture made the difference between what was going on in Europe, Africa, and Asia, and what was going on over here. We actually created this American food thing. Like I said, African ingenuity and ingredients, Native American ingredients, European tools, and black know-how. Just the same for Veracruz, Mexico, as it is for Bahia in Brazil, same for Port-au-Prince in Haiti, same for Kingston in Jamaica, same thing for Charleston, South Carolina, same thing for Boston.
So did you travel to all those places? Where did you travel for this?
So I traveled the entire Deep South several times over.
Okay.
First trip was in 2012, 3 major trips, from Maryland to Louisiana, East Texas, and back.
Okay.
So hitting every state. We went another loop, another Appalachian route, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. So looking for not only our roots, but, black communities where people persisted in certain foodways. So Appalachian foodways from Appalachia.
That's a new one, Afro-Latchin.
Yes, Afro-Latchin, there's a term for it. Gullah Geechee folk, Creole folk in Louisiana. Learning about that there were black Cajuns. Nobody told me that. So just all these traditions and where they came from, and just trying to trace the migration of black food. That migration of the food will tell you where you come from.
Oh my God, I love this. I'm so glad I came down here. You all, one of our icons in black food is Jessica Harris, right?
Right.
And I was listening to a podcast, randomly listening to a food podcast, and the interviewer asked her, who are the up-and-coming people in food that you are watching? And she named this one woman,
Nicole Taylor, probably.
Another woman. Yeah, she just said Nicole Taylor, because shout out to Nicole Taylor. We have a Nicole Taylor on our team. She said Nicole Taylor. She said another woman. Then she said another woman. And I was like, well, she got to say a man. She got to say Michael Twitty. And then the last person she said was Michael Twitty. And I stopped the car and was like, woohoo! This is awesome, because she is, can you talk about her? I mean, she is a pioneer for us in terms of African American and diasporan food.
Jessica Harris, Helen Mendez, and now we have Tony Tipton Martin.
Yes.
We have Adrian Miller. I mean, the basic fact that we also had Howard Page. Should have given a shout out to Howard Page and Fred Opie. And there's more. I mean, there's room for everybody in this field. Miss Jessica certainly was a trailblazer, because no one else is writing about black food in that way. Well, because people didn't expect that you could actually travel and eat black food and enjoy it on the same level. She said, oh yeah, our food is just as gourmet, as important as everybody else's tradition. So we're
getting attacked by flies. But that's okay, because we're interpreting. Where our people were. And, oops, sorry. I've got a selfie stick, you guys. That's why we're teetering.
Yeah, but it's okay. We're trying to get these things up out of him. So I was very pleased that one of our matriarchs in the history of food shouted you out. And I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. It's very important to me that we continue to talk about the African influences on all aspects of our culture. And whenever I think of food, I'm always calling you. So I really hope that you all will go. We're going to put a link to the Black bookseller, the independent bookseller. But please go and order a copy of the Cooking Gene. Are there any recipes in there? There are recipes in it. There are about 25 recipes in it or so.
See, and this brother can burn. So
these are our family heirloom recipes, so you know.
Okay.
You know if I'm gonna give up a few little secrets.
Is the ice cream in there? You were talking about your mother could throw down on some ice cream.
But my mother's apple crisp was in there. And the macaroni and cheese.
See, you heard it here first at AfricanAncestry.com. The Cooking Gene is the book to get. You know what? And I think what we're going to do, we'll give away some copies too.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get some copies. Ty doesn't know this and the rest of our social media team, but they're learning it now. We're going to get some copies and give them away. We'll order them. We'll pre-order them. Hopefully from MahoganyBooks.com, and then find a way to give them away next week in celebration of the launch. We'll give them away on August 1st. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pre-order one.
Right.
Because you get yours, and then you might win one as a gift. Please, please, please help us to support this brother and the work he's doing all over the diaspora to educate the young folks. Right. So that they understand that we come from somewhere and how much we've created. We weren't just contributors.
Right.
We are creators. And so thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm cutting this short because these flies are on they're what do you call photobomb. We're getting photobombed by the flies. But also there's a really powerful reenactment that we're
Yes.
going to go see in just a
Yes.
few minutes, Women and Enslavement,
Right.
here at the Peyton Randolph House in Colonial Williamsburg. So thank you, Michael Twitty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for watching. Check us out next week. So next Wednesday, we're going to do another live reveal. So we did a reveal of Simone Jones from our team, and she was your cousin. She shouted
What?
you out on here. Taylor Key says, I see you, Michael. Oh, Taylor. Ah, I know Taylor. So, yes, Simone is your cousin. But anyway, we have a special guest coming into the office next Wednesday. Our Facebook Live is going to be in the evening. I think it's going to be at 6 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock so that we can accommodate her and her family as they come into the office and find out where she's from. And then I also want to shout out Janice Collins. She sent us a video of her African ancestry experience, and so we're getting that posted up onto YouTube so that we can share it with everybody. Thank you, Janice, for sharing your experience with us. And then again, if you guys have any questions, anything you want us to cover, please send us an email at fblive@africanancestry.com. And then marketing wise, you're on Instagram, Twitter. Give them all
I
that.
am the Cooking Gene on Instagram. I am at Kosher Soul. That's right, at Kosher Soul, the one and only Kosher Soul. At Kosher Soul on Twitter, and Michael W. Twitty on Facebook. And family, I'm telling you, this is the culinary equivalent of Roots. You're gonna want this book in every one of our households. You're gonna want to tell this story to your children that you were there when the knowledge got dropped. This is my birthday gift to Black America on our 400th anniversary of being here, surviving, and thriving. And we're going to still be here after long everything else is gone. So get that cooking gene today.
Where is the mic? What can we drop? It is done. We're out.
Bye.